for now, this will be the final tape. I had promised to deliver my sources, and I'm going to provide a camera shot on them in a little bit. It's going to be a little rudimentary, but bear with me. And I'll also try to do it in probably a PDF form or a Word form uh, at the end of my presentation so that you'll be able to get it and read it no problem. So I'm going to try to do it visual, and we'll see if we can deliver quality information so you're able to do reasonable research. And I appreciate your patience, and I kind of apologize for the lack of sophistication here. We're just trying to convey some information as efficiently as we can, given our limitations, or more importantly, mine, and our equipment challenges. I mean, if you were seeing the backdrop here, you'd have a pretty good chuckle. But we're doing the best we can given the circumstance. What I noticed up there on top of my whiteboard over there is just the facts, and that reminds me of the cop movie way back in, gosh, it must have been the 60s or something. It's called Dragnet. It said, "Just the facts, ma'am." And so in pursuit of the facts, I'd like to kind of readdress a little bit of everything of what I talked about, just kind of the nuggets, and see if I can't get you to better understand kind of the overall. And as I do that, I wanted to, and apologize looking down, but it's down here on the bottom of my whiteboard. I want to remind you of something that's really important. And, and that is a statement that goes like this: Fukushima has no borders. It does impact all of us on this planet. And in fact, it's the Japanese gift that keeps on giving, because essentially what's happening is that every 42 days, what comes out of Fukushima, Japan, circles the planet, mainly in the northern hemisphere, but it's circling the planet. The first point that I'd like to focus on is a mindset. And there's very few people that try to inform the public or try to convey information that people need to question or look at. What comes to mind for me is my education corruption work with my two sons, and the resistance of the system to even look at the possibility of somebody having ulterior motives or ripping off money and that. And it was amazing to me how much effort it took to get the system to be willing to look at itself. And so I have a comment that I think is very true, and it is that the truth is seldom popular, and people who deliver it have to pay their dues, meaning it's not an easy road to walk. So bear with me. I'll try to follow up. One of the most important questions I have, and I think it's very relevant, is who cut the telegraph wires? I've talked to it 2 or 3 times about it in my earlier presentations, but who has the power to shut down ABC, CBS, PBS, all of the different media centers? We've got CNN with 24. We got news ad nauseum, and they're all not talking about Fukushima. You know, they're talking about the panda bear that's trying to escape his crib, or they're talking about the floods going on somewhere that seems important, or, you know, ad nauseum with Trump and what he's saying, and his, you know, his presentations are question this, question that. You know, and I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm not a fan of Hillary's. I frankly think, you know, if anything, I was a Bernie fan, because I think we need to do something different, something better, something new. So I don't favor either side of the aisle. I just know you can't put a system like our political system in gridlock, paralyze it, and then expect any kind of good outcome. So going back on point, we as the citizenry in a democracy have the right to demand accountability. And a part of that accountability is, why did every one of the major organizations that are paid billions of dollars to, in our stead, keep an eye on our planet, keep an eye on the ocean, keep an eye on our air, keep an eye on all the land issues, all of those different federal agencies with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of employees and billions of dollars spent, who gave them the right to shut down, to go on vacation? When we need them most, they all decided to abdicate, to go rogue on us and shut everything down. Who gave them the order? Who had the right to do that? And we as the citizenry, we're paid. They're our employees. We need to demand NOAA to get their butt in gear and tell us what's going on in the Pacific Ocean and all around the planet. What's happening? The EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. How can they call themselves who they are without protecting us? They've all essentially cowed down to the nuclear industry and the political machine that's been bought off. So pay attention to what's going on, demand accountability, and be conscious of what your rights are. It's important that we look at this thing analytically. We need to bring the best minds to the table. It's imperative that we be aware of what the real problems are and how we can follow through and understand, like I just talked to you earlier, we need to know what's going on. In one of my tapes, I talked about reactor 1 and the fissioning that's taking place, and a Dr. Jerry Peterman that seems to know a lot about it. And the number 3, why was it a plutonium reactor? How much was there? We need those answers. So we need to demand, for the quality information to be provided to us, because we're the consumer. We hired those people to do a job. We must demand accountability, and the facts speak for themselves. It's imperative that we do our homework and supplant or replace the people who've gone rogue on us. So back on mind, keep in mind that we deserve the facts, even as sobering as they are. They're very scary. Going back to my comment up here with John Wayne, where it says courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway. We all have to saddle up. We have to bring the best minds to the table. We need to understand what's happening with our pregnant women. We need to understand what's happening to our food supply. We need to understand the water situation, and we need to bring the best minds to make it accountable, to make sure that we are very, we spend the time and the resources to get this water thing solved. I'm concerned about it. So I'm asking, and actually I'm imploring you to help us create a team of like-minded, intelligent people to help us help you with smart people and with good decisions and with the right priorities. We can make the best out of a very bad situation. We've got to be attentive. We need to man up, much like the Duke says, even when you're scared, you still get in the saddle and you still go out there, whether it's a blizzard or, and you're gonna, you're risking your life, or it's 110 degrees and it's gonna be tough on you and the livestock. You gotta do what you gotta do for all of us. So I encourage you to, keep in mind the comments I'm making. Make sure that you understand that all of what I've conveyed in all these tapes is my opinion. And I'm no smarter than any of you. I just have taken the time to do my homework and try to look at some of these facts in a reasonably intelligent way and do a little math to make sure that what I think is happening, in fact, is happening. So we all have the capability to understand this stuff if we're willing to focus on it. I never dreamed 2 years ago that I would know what I now know about radiation. I never dreamed I'd have to. I never wanted to. But the truth is, necessity forces that we become courageous, that we become active, that we engage ourselves in this pursuit for all of our survival. One of the main things that I'd also like to put out is that we have an excellent theater of demonstration. We have the 30-year window called Chernobyl. If you want to know what it's going to look like in Japan, probably in another 5 or 10 years, because Japan is much worse than Chernobyl, in half the time, you'll probably see the same thing that's currently going on in Chernobyl, where they're attempting to fly out hundreds of thousands of children because they're becoming so irradiated with this 40% of Europe that's in trouble. So I think you need to keep in mind what happened in Chernobyl. That's a 30-year window. What's currently going on in Fukushima and in almost the entire country of Japan, because that's the short window. And now, how we're being affected on the West Coast. It seems to me that if you look at the numbers, and I'm now thinking about what I saw from the Open Journal of Pediatric Medicine, and what they stated was that 28% of the children are being adversely affected on the West Coast from the radiation, and it's showing up specifically in the thyroid gland, and the damage is, again, they're saying 28% of them are already affected. That's over 1 in 4. So keep that in mind. In closing, I would like you to take this last thought, and that is that there's literally 1 million people have died, closer to, by my calculations right now, and they're conservative, 1.875 million have died because of Chernobyl. And the IAEA, which is the lead organization on this planet that's supposed to be telling us what to do, they're lying, and they say only 4,000 people died. Do the math. Divide 1.875 by 4,000. That's how far off they are. Why? Why is Abe, the head of Japan, trying to get the Olympics there when everybody knows it's contaminated? Why is he doing that? Who's had the power to shut down the media, and why? Get engaged, get involved, help us. Join the team if you have scientific expertise or something that you can offer. Help us put together a team that can get these answers. We deserve better than what's currently going on, and we better take the reins. We better saddle up. We better get this done. Thank you.